All right, we have a big fight coming up this Saturday in the heavyweight division. All 4 world titles will be up for grabs as Tyson Fury battles Oleksandr Usyk in Saudi Arabia. And here with me to break it down is a great boxing play-by-play voice, the one and only Curran Bhatia. Curran, what's going on?
Dexter, pumped to talk fights with you. We got a lot of good fights on tap, and of course, the heavyweight championship of the world.
Oh, man, anytime you get a big heavyweight fight, you know this man is excited. I know the fans are excited for sure. And Curran, the reason people are excited for this one, this fight is for the undisputed heavyweight title. How does this bout compare to other historic unification fights in heavyweight history?
This fight between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk is right up there with some of the biggest fights in history for heavyweight, for every weight division, and I'll tell you why. This is going to be the first time that we're going to see an undisputed champion at heavyweight in the modern 4-belt era. First time. And the first time we're going to have an undisputed champion in the heavyweight division since Lennox Lewis back in the 90s. The other part of it that's on the line is what's called the lineal title. And that is when the man beats the man, right? Onward and onward. And Tyson Fury also holds the lineal title, so that's also going to be at stake. So it's also going to be the first time that in the heavyweight division, there's going to be a lineal champion who also is the 4-belt champion. We know in boxing, it can become confusing with all the different belts and things like that. There's going to be one man at the top of the heavyweight division on May 18th.
And that's what makes it so exciting, because we haven't seen this in such a long time. We're talking about since the late 90s with Lennox Lewis. So this is very exciting. Now, I got to ask you this. When you look at these two fighters and how big this matchup is, what unique strengths do Fury and Usyk bring to this fight that you think could be game changers in this one?
Both Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk are supremely talented fighters. Both are undefeated, but they do have very different skill sets. So Tyson Fury is a big man, and he can knock you out with power. He did that to Deontay Wilder. But the unique thing about Tyson Fury, yes, he's 6'9". Yes, he's got the 85-inch reach, but he can box and move, and that is extremely rare for the heavyweight division, especially a man of that size. Now, Oleksandr Usyk, he was a champion at cruiserweight, moved up to heavyweight. He has supreme boxing ability, and if you want to look at that, just look at his fights with Anthony Joshua. Outboxed him. At the same time, Oleksandr Usyk is also a southpaw, so that just adds to his attack, right? That's a different angle than fighters are used to seeing. So Oleksandr Usyk, supreme boxer. He can box you in the center of the ring. He's as tough as they come. Tyson Fury is the bigger man, and he can knock you out, but he can also box and move, and that's just a very rare combination. So two supremely gifted fighters, both champions in their right, both undefeated, and they're coming together.
Okay, so two supremely gifted fighters here, right? Supremely gifted in the way we look at them and what they can bring to the table. And Curran, you know this as a boxing fan.
Yeah.
Styles make fights, right? We've heard this many times before. So I got to ask you this. How might Usyk's speed and agility contrast with Fury's size and power? When you look at those two different dynamics, how will that affect the dynamics of this fight when the two come together?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, Oleksandr Usyk will have speed and agility, but he'll also have power. Tyson Fury has power and size, and he also has speed and ability. That's what's so interesting and fascinating about this matchup. How do I think it's going to play out? Well, you got to look at Tyson Fury is listed at 6'9". Oleksandr Usyk is listed at 6'3". Tyson Fury has an 85-inch reach. Usyk has a 78-inch reach, so that's definitely going to be an advantage. At the same time, Tyson Fury can box and move, like he said, but he can also lean on smaller opponents, and that's what I expect him to do if he can catch Usyk, lean on him, use that size to wear him down, and try to go for the knockout, but at the same time, box and move, right? You don't want to get into a boxing match in the center of the ring with Oleksandr Usyk because he is such a skilled boxer. So he's also a very difficult puzzle to solve. Now, you mentioned how it'll play out physically in the ring, and that is going to be really interesting. But one other storyline that I think is going to be just as interesting, if not more, is the mental aspect, right? How does each man's mental preparation factor into this fight? And so Tyson Fury has been vocal, and I applaud him for doing so, about battling mental health challenges, right? He's become an advocate for mental health. At one point, Tyson Fury lost everything. He ballooned up to 400 pounds, and he had to come back from that. And he's even said, hey, I need to train 2 times a day to make sure that I can control my mental health, right, and keep myself in a good place. And if you look at video and photos of him now, he looks like he's in that good place. He's in really good shape. He's ready for this matchup. And for Oleksandr Usyk, this is a man who is fighting on the front lines for his country of Ukraine, right? So he was fighting with his fellow countrymen, and they looked at him and they said, hey, wait a minute, why are you here with us? You should be out there fighting the best boxers in the heavyweight division, carrying our flag in victory. That's what we want to see you do. So you just have to think about the mental toughness that goes into that, fighting for your country. So these are 2 men that have battled mental health in different ways and are preparing for this matchup physically, but also mentally. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see that play out on May 18th.
Yeah, I think the mental part of it, as you mentioned too, and just dealing with mental health is very interesting. And it's because if either fighter gets in a tough situation in this fight, just some of the things they've been through makes you think they can get through this, and we'll see how that all plays out on Saturday, May 18th. Now, here's the thing, Curran, because there's so much on the line with this fight, as you talked about, what are the potential implications for the heavyweight division depending on who wins here? How do things play out depending if Usyk wins or Fury wins in this matchup?
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how this fight plays out on May 18th between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. In terms of what comes next, well, first of all, there is a 2-way rematch clause in place. So what that means is the loser of the fight has the right to get a direct rematch. So most likely, depending on what happens, we will see this fight again, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll see it for a 3rd time, right, depending on how it plays out. But beyond that, right, let's say they get to the rematch or the trilogy and there is a decisive winner, right? There's so many interesting future matchups in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is actually red hot right now. So one matchup that we wanted to see for a long time, and this would be if Tyson Fury wins, would be Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has won his last 4 fights, 3 of those by spectacular knockout. So that's a fight that we've wanted for such a long time. If Usyk wins, well, Usyk already beat Joshua twice. So you look at his options. The one fighter that he had in that scenario, he would have beaten Joshua. He would have beaten Tyson Fury. The one fighter that is, let's say, the top in this modern era would be Deontay Wilder. So maybe there would be an opportunity for a matchup in that case between Oleksandr Usyk and Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder seemingly has his hands full right now. He has a matchup coming up with Jae Lee Zong, and then they're also talking about Deontay Wilder versus Jared Anderson, an up-and-coming fighter. There's a lot of other fighters in the mix, Filip Hrgovic, Joseph Parker, so many other big names in the heavyweight division. So the important thing is that we're getting this fight on May 18th, and hopefully we'll even see it again after that, and that these matchups are being made in the heavyweight division.
That's the important thing, because, you know, you and I were disappointed earlier last year when we thought we were going to get Joshua Wilder. A lot of fans expected that, didn't see that go down, but we have this fight. Just trying to stay present. So staying present, Kurt, based on their current form of each of these fighters and your expertise, which you are an expert in this, who do you predict will win the fight, and by what method? Are you going with decision? Are you going with knockout? Who are you picking in this one?
It's a fantastic fight, as we've been saying. Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk. Both men are undefeated. Both men are champions, right? And they bring a lot of different things into the ring. If you look at Tyson Fury's last matchup against Francis Ngannou, and Francis Ngannou was the former UFC heavyweight champion. He made the move from MMA to boxing for that fight. Tyson Fury got dropped in that fight. He didn't look great. Now, I think that Tyson Fury didn't take that fight with Ngannou as seriously as he should have, thinking, hey, this is a guy coming from MMA, so I don't need to worry about this. And I think that's why he got dropped and won a razor-thin decision. If you look at Oleksandr Usyk in his last fight, there was a body shot, which was actually a low blow, but it could have been argued to be a body shot, and so there was some controversy there. But then Oleksandr Usyk came back to win by knockout against Daniel Dubois. So both of these men have looked somewhat vulnerable recently, but at the same time, we've also seen them look prolific in the ring. And you just look at their previous fights and their resume. They've fought the best fighters in boxing. So who do I think is going to win? At the end of the day, I am going to have to take Tyson Fury, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think Oleksandr Usyk is a southpaw. He's a supremely gifted boxer. It's going to be tough for Fury to catch Usyk, and it's going to be tough for Fury to impose his size. But if he is able to, I think Fury may be able to do more in the ring, and that means maybe a little bit more power due to the size advantage. Maybe box and move, as we've seen Tyson Fury do in the past. And at the end of the day, I also think Oleksandr Usyk is as tough as nails. We've talked about everything that he's gone through to even get to this moment. So, therefore, I think Usyk is at least going to make the final bell and also definitely have his moments. but I will take Tyson Fury by decision. But I do think it's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be a fascinating fight with a lot of different moments.
All right, Tyson Fury by decision should be a good one. One last thing for you before we go here. Would you call this the best heavyweight matchup that we've seen in quite some time? And then we talked about what the stakes are, the unification, the 4 titles on the line. Is this the best matchup that we've seen in quite some time?
This is a huge fight, especially in modern times. Like if you look at, for example, Tyson Fury fought Vladimir Klitschko. At the time, people didn't give Fury much of a chance. He ended up beating Klitschko. That was a big fight. Vladimir Klitschko versus Anthony Joshua. That was an absolutely fantastic fight where they exchanged knockdowns. Tyson Fury took on Deontay Wilder in a trilogy. We talked about Usyk versus Joshua. Those were kind of one-sided fights for Usyk. So I think this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in recent memory in terms of the heavyweight division. And like we keep talking about, every single belt is on the line. The lineal championship is on the line. So that means on Saturday night, May 18th, we will have crowned a 4-belt undisputed champion, a lineal champion at heavyweight. So there will be one man at the top of the heavyweight division, one king with the crown at the heavyweight divisions, and that's what we want to see. Heavyweight division, right? Getting that title is one of history's most iconic designations, being the heavyweight champion of the world. It means you're the baddest man on the planet. So we're going to find out who that is on Saturday, May 18th.
Yeah, we're going to find out Saturday, May 18th. Everybody should be excited about that. The boxing fans will be. This man, Curran Bhatia, will be for sure. Usyk versus Fury going down Saturday, May 18th. Can't wait to see how it plays out. This man has picked Tyson Fury to win. We will see how it all unfolds. Curran, appreciate you always coming here to talk some boxing, and we'll see how this fight plays out. Should be a good one.
See how it plays out. Thanks so much, Dexter, for having me, and enjoy the fight.
I will. Definitely enjoy the fight.